Alrighty. Anna von Reitz webinar, June 6, 2022. Multiple articles have been released regarding claims on the world's wealth. You might want to familiarize yourselves with these. All these people think that they're going to establish claims against the world's wealth, false misrepresentations to commandeer without standing or prominence. They're doing this to cause confusion. Bad actors, they're just trying to get all they can before they get the door shut on them. No more bar association. No more Temple Intercity of London. This will all be straightened out and end soon. It can be sooner if we relieve the military. Message to President Trump and to the military. A grave misunderstanding on how the military was structured from the very beginning, and also about our situation now. The situation at the end of the Revolutionary War was that we had all of these Tories, loyal subjects of the Queen who never wanted to be separated from the Queen's government, who were now imposed upon for 8 years of war and lost, and we're still here. It was 1/3 of the population. What do you do with these people who were born here but loyal to the Queen? With great mercy, the founders prosecuted a few of the Tories, ones that did the damage to the American cause. But the rest of the people were allowed to stay, with the intent of them providing essential governmental services. And their essential services that they were supposed to supply at that time was coverage by their Navy to protect our shipping, commercial trade and shipping. That was the initial relationship that started a bipolar relationship. And what I mean by that is the Army and the Air Force is wholly American command. But the Navy and the Marine Corps is Britain and American command. The Britain, they are in control while they're on the sea or on the inland waterways. The American command is on the ground and the coastal waters and the ports. So depending on where you're stationed is depending on who is in control. A sea pass is a passport to enjoy liberty on shore, a passport from sea to land. He converts to the law of the land and has been informed he has to honor the public law. So the Navy and the Marine Corps, they know that they have to deal with the public law when they come and they're on the land and soil jurisdiction and being run by American command. All right, the armed forces. The confusion is who had command at any time. It's been broken up and redistributed all across the world, and so really not too many people know. The United States President of America, through the American Federation of States, our president, is supposed to be the commander-in-chief of our military. Mr. Lincoln did his shuffle dance, opting to represent the U.S. corporation in his presidency. He didn't qualify to be an American president. He was registered as a bar associate, which is a representative of the Queen. No American president can be a foreign agent, loyal to a foreign government. Territorial government, U.S. corporation, seized the armed forces. It went from an honorable soldiery to a mercenary army of a corporation. And you can see the Civil War was not actually a war from 3 points of evidence. First, there was no true document of declaration commencing the war. 2, although they call it a war between the states, what it really was a war between the state subcontractors. Because all the men mustered out were registered to corporations, the state of New York. Incorporated state converted to territorial government. Not New York, actual land and soil jurisdiction, but the state of New York, the corporation of New York. The Confederation of States was a state of state. It broke up in 1860. It was divided into the North and the South. Businesses were fighting against each other, resulting in a mercenary conflict. Okay, so it was actually a mercenary conflict. It was not a war. They proved it right there. Number three, mercenary conflict or war. No declaration of peace in all three jurisdictions. No proclamation of peace. Andrew Johnson, after President Lincoln was assassinated, um, made three declarations over a 1 year period declaring peace on the land, but no official peace treaty. This would have been in the series of the Treaty of Versailles. No documents to support that are filed there. They are just left hanging. It's illegal and unlawful what they did. Legal technicality they have. Our military forces operated as a mercenary force since 1860 when this happened. Our military has been lied to and used. They have been deceived into being cheap mercenary forces. A mercenary average makes about $500,000 a year, has a very good life insurance policy and benefits, and they supply them with all of the modern technology. Our military, they have not had a raise in 50 years, needs food stamps to supplement their income, and doesn't provide the supplies that they need them. There was actually, Anna had gotten some mail, which was hawking for toiletries for servicemen, that they didn't have soap and deodorant and socks and things like that. She went off the chain on that. Anyway, mercenary forces are illegal and unlawful, but many country militants have been abused the same as ours. Their militaries were converted into mercenary armies. Abraham Lincoln, working for the Queen and the British government, he died. It left the country and the military in a pickle. How to convert the military back to an honorable soldiery, now controlled by the territorial government. Contracting process was flawed. All contracting processes are negotiable. All contracting done to date is invalid because they were not given full disclosure and the facts. The soldiers signed on the dotted line with good faith intentions. Contract fails on first effect. Deception of signing up as an honorable soldier, but in reality you're signing up as a mercenary. You can leave and they don't have a leg to stand on. They cannot prosecute you in court. It's a flawed contract. You don't want to leave? Then don't leave. No protection for your country. I understand where you're coming from. You're a loyal, dutiful soldier. Soldiers can rewrite their contract to be an honorable soldiery again. The Federal Republic. Military and President Trump could join the Federal Republic and give services to the American people. Convert from the territory municipal governments to our Federal Republic, becoming an honorable soldiery in service to their country instead of a rogue mercenary army working for the Queen. It will be lawful and legal. They can create a contract with the American people and provide services to the American people that are needed and requested. We all regain our honor. Robber barons. Now, this is in the same type of thing. What's going on? These are people who took advantage of travelers by robbing them by military force, basically using our military to provide the same services across the world. The same fraud, but 100 years later, and now they're using our people, which we are paying them to do. Military, not properly structured due to foreign power. It has not been able to get out of this quandary. No lawful government organized to sign a contract with them. We could work together to solve these problems. We are at a standstill until we have a sit down, discuss history and how history has affected our standing, current situations. Resolution for the American Federal Republic. We request the sit down and discussion. So we do business in good faith. Simple contracts, no legalese, no parse syntax. Military needs a raise, better benefits, death benefits, recovery benefits when injured. New healing techniques will help this greatly because the men that were damaged so badly can be revitalized again. If we're going to have a military, American, it must be an honorable soldiery. devoted in serving our country, protect the American people and their assets. Military and President Trump, you should not be happy about this situation you're in. We can help. Become American state nationals. A firm place to stand. Return to their original status as an honorable soldiery. Return to the Federal Republic to intended purpose and status as American subcontractors under the Constitution of the United States of America, making Federation serve double duty running the Federal Republic. All military serving on territory municipal governments, all loyal to American Republic, jump ship on all their broken contracts. Rewrite their contracts to an honorable soldiery, changing the venue of the soldiers. Change the territorial commander to chief. Change the territorial commander-in-chief to the U.S. American commander-in-chief. All military branches and commander-in-chief will be on the land and soil jurisdiction and a part of the American federal government. We are free of the Queen, the Pope, and the Lord Mayor. So much fraud. Okay, so really that wraps up the letter to President Trump. She's going to send it to him and ask him to please respond and to make a set down so that they can work on restoring the American Federal Republic. Okay, so much fraud. Did you know that Israel was made into a corporation, the State of Israel, and it was bought by Jacob Rothschild? There is no British Queen. There is no monarch, has been seated since 1087 AD. The queen that is there now is actually wearing the imperial crown of the Holy Roman Empire. It's the crown that's worn by Queen Elizabeth, and it means that she is overseeing the Pope's interest. Number 3, she is German. She is not British. How can she be a British royalty? She's not. When Queen Victoria married in 1840, her property became the king's property, House of Wettin and Saxon Principality. So that means that it converted over to German. And the Queen is German, but she's not a British royal. So it was not British royals, but German royals that infiltrated the British monarchy, and they took over. And here are some things just to think about. If you look at pictures at George V and Adolf Hitler, they have very, very thick familiar resemblances. Their looks are alike and their voices alike. Now, if you go down the line and you look at Prince Charles and Reinhard Heydrich, that was Hitler's top lieutenant, they have very, very distinct resemblances and voice. Prince Charles, Prince Philip, Lord Mountbatten, if you look at them against Reinhard Heydrich, they all look like their family. Very apparent, the Nazi movement between Briton Germans and Germans to take over the monarchy. Emily Windsor Craig, she's a challenger to the throne, has written a book. It exposed all of the familiar familiar resemblances. All right, so now we're going to continue with more frauds. All of the presidents, every single one of them, are related. Let's think about that. Once a queen, always a queen. Queen of Denmark moves to Britain, it's still a queen, but she's not the Queen of England. But she's still a queen. Just like a German queen. Anna's great-great-grandfathers founded the first central bank with the purpose to manipulate of commodities. Now, this was a legal banking transaction that was done by the government. The central bank was a government bank. It was used to control rate and release of commodities. This was a practice of good bankers. How it got convoluted and distorted was the deep state could not resist the greed of including the value of people, labor of the people, and cornering the market by enslavement. They would talk about the Economic Stability Fund and the Economic Security Fund. These are two names that they switch, intermingling between conversations to create confusion. It's like what they do with having two offices for everything. Well, they had two separate funds, and they just kept, confusion between the two and talking about what was allowed on one, what wasn't allowed on another, and kept everybody in the dark. People working there knew it was wrong, tried to escape the criminality now and reestablish relationships to give lawful service with reputable companies. They're trying to, get free of them now. Some will admit that they would do anything to make a profit as a true globalist. We have to learn to navigate around these type of people. There is a new book release by John Batuso, Universal Self-Governance. Bring forth your creator powers. So Anna is recommending this book, and it's very good to bring your own personal power into your self-governance. Suggested education resources. This one is big time, and everybody needs to take notice, and they also need to start making it available to people that don't listen to this, to either Anna's webinar or this summation. It's called the sovereign'sway.com, and that's sovereigns with apostrophe S, way.com. It's a great site. It's plainly stated. It is the defense skills on how to act and react in court. It's going to save our butts. And then she is also continuing to request that people go and to see Brent Winters, that course about the grand jury class. Classes are available in modules. I am recommending all people interested in defending themselves in a Roman civil law court. She's even starting to take it because she wanted to see if it was good enough for us. And she went through the first module, and she is amazed, and it is exactly what we need. All right, so there was a terrible, terrible, terrible incident in Washington this week, and it had to do with Terry. Don't be scared. This happened because the state contractors have been allowed to run wild, breaking the law to enforce legalities. Let this make you more determined to punish the lawbreakers and abundantly compensate the victims. It's a two-edged sword, punishment and compensation. They are using your money and your governmental assets to be unlawful to the American people. The newspaper was at Terry's house. She gave a wonderful interview from the back of the police cruiser. And this is Terry stating this. I was arrested and released by 1:30 a.m. I have relocated to an assembly member's house. They are taking wonderful care of me. But the people that... let me tell you what happened. The police broke in her door, used tear gas, removed her, arrested her, put her in the back of a car, destroyed her house, broke most of her belongings, trashed the whole house, urinated inside the house, used sledgehammers, destroyed most of her belongings, were really hateful to the property all the way around, and really hateful to her also. But, she kept her cool, and she's doing okay, and she's recovering from all of this. Let's see here. She was allowed, the assembly members were allowed to take some of her things out of her house, and they educated them and red-pilled the police while they were there. We told them that they were committing crimes and continued to educate them. We are now negotiating after them waking up to reality. I am planning on returning to my house. Her puppy ended up dying from all of this abuse that happened. He was taken to a vet, and she did get him back, but he ended up dying in her arms. He was 10, but, it didn't have to happen. So all of this is because some shyster put their mortgage onto Terry's house illegally. All fraud. They evicted two of her all caps names. Terry's house has been paid off for many, many years. I will pursue all actions and compensation for all their actions. I cannot return my sense of safety or my beloved pup. When all this went down, I had no fear. God is with me. My angels and guides are with me. All those actions were unjust, illegal, and unlawful. How? Oh, okay. So that's really all with her story. But, there's this is for this one little woman. They had 16 police cars, fire department with the fire engines, helicopters, and an armory unit. And they did set off an explosive that blew her door out and then threw tear gas. And she was roughed up a little bit, and they definitely were not as nice as they could be, and they destroyed her house completely. So God help her, and we're praying for her. How do you command the judge to be a public servant, to do what you require? Well, I don't know where that came out of left field, but we will ensure Terry's safety and compensation, but it will come out of the American people's money. They are pretending to be us, and they have no money. But best way to discourage them is to take their money and coercive power. So we're going to withhold both. They're going to be held liable personally and commercially liable, and to settle the accounts. They had a choice. They didn't have to enforce legalities that are unlawful. It's time to terminate the employees not working on behalf of the American people. Okay, so we're going to a cash economy. This is as of Biden today. He signed an executive order. But they've been talking about it. Anna says that he's having a jihad. They're going to sick the IRS, the mortgage servicing companies, monitoring every amount you spend. And, if you owe something, they're going to sick them on you big time, fast, try to take all your assets. And this is their last-ditch effort to try and get anything they can before they get kicked to the curb. All the actions that they are taking create a trespass. This is a spiritual offense. It's against the soul. It's against the standing of a living man or woman. They have made it they have made it a normal daily occurrence to trespass on us. This time they're going to walk away bleeding. We know thinking and we know and feel. Oh my goodness. We know, think, and feel Terry is an innocent woman living on land and soil that has been misidentified as a territorial municipal government corporation entity. We know she's innocent. Please donate funds. This is for Terry also. She is displaced and has lost most of her belongings. Her computer needs replaced. Police confiscated her phone and is monitoring her like a criminal. Same tactics as the Raj, foreign mercenaries. We'll have to pay for court proceedings and reestablish her residence. We need funds to continue pursuing the IRS and Bar Association, recouping individual bonds, settling estate issues, preparing to open the bank. Good progress. Info soon released publicly. Get your own account with Blue Dot Banking. Entering a new world. Some of the assemblies gearing up now with accounts as a test. Credit card companies not requiring Social Security numbers. Some credit card companies are not requiring Social Security numbers. And credit apps, they are now not attached to SWIFT banking systems. We are here to protect Americans and American assets. Why do we need to pay foreign subcontractors to provide services? Shouldn't we provide our own services? We can pay Americans to provide services. In 1913, a bill was created. We are owed a silver dollar for every piece of paper put against our credit. We are due trillions of silver. Silver dollar is 1 ounce worth of silver, more owed than available worldwide to mine. So this is the people. This is how to deal with people that they just can't listen. They just can't believe. They just can't get past it. Present the facts. Give sources of the truth. Explain to people asking questions. If they won't look and listen, push forward and pray for them. Coded information equals secrecy. Equals look for the fraud. If you need a cloak of secrecy, that it equals a source of pillage, theft, and fraud. Look at all of the people that have lost their homes due to this criminal territory municipal government. File a complaint if you're inspired. The link is in Mattermost under Terry's Evidence channel. Thank you to the Washington Assembly for all the love and support that you have given. To all assemblies, this is a good way to support our mission as communities, as brothers and sisters. We are going to get through this, and we are going to win. This week, going to court, IRS and bar associations, going in for the kill. Pull together, unite, push forward. Go to your happy place. Focus on the life you want for yourself, your family, and humanity. Good night, and God bless. Thank you, guys. You have a good night.